Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back KS family. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth and positive excellence in the process. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently up 1.11% to 17,096. Ethereum is up 1.32% to 1277. And please note, I don't have WhatsApp or Telegram. The Dow shines as high rates squeeze the Nasdaq's tech stocks. The blue chip average is outpacing the S&P 500 this year by the widest margin since 1933. And why is that? Due to its basic composition, and especially it's not tech heavy. We know that there's currently an inverse relationship between yields and stock market performance, and of course Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity, so we need to look at the stock market. And if you're in the market and you're not looking at crypto, you're making a mistake, because Bitcoin has the highest risk correlation, and it typically repairs first. We can see that yields have gone down, and we look at the federal funds predicted rate in April 2023. It's come down quite a lot. It peaked around 5.2% and it's come down to 4.865% at the moment. But let's have a look at where the Dow is. The Dow undeniably is doing very, very well because it's tech light. Popping on the Nasdaq, we can see that Nasdaq is underperforming the Dow. What about the S&P 500? The S&P 500 is under the Dow, as that newspaper article reported, and it's also above the Nasdaq. And where is Bitcoin? Due to FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, it's way, way down because of Sam's actions. Well done, Sam. And when we look at the 9 sell-offs and recoveries in the S&P 500 since 1966, we can see that the S&P 500 is doing really, really well. Many people expected it to fall down below this 35.77 mark when we were back here. It did not do so. It actually rallied, and it's been rallying really, really strongly. That doesn't mean we're not going to get a pullback. If we get a pullback and form a higher low, for example, around the 37.60 mark, this would be very, very constructive. It could almost point to a turnaround. And how could a turnaround happen when everybody is talking recession? This is what financial markets do. But we must be prepared for the upside, the flat side, and the downside. That's what all professionals do. What is driving this? In about 10 days, the next FOMC meeting will be held. And we're expecting a 78.2% probability of a 50 basis point increase in the federal funds rate. This has brought yields down and also the dollar down as well. The dollar is currently, the DXY is currently 104.506, and it's above a smart money support line or a buy line at 104.391, and there's a stronger one underneath that at 104.113. When you look to the past action of the Nasdaq and Bitcoin, and this actually stops because the DXY, even though Bitcoin is continuing to trade, the DXY has stopped. When it stops, it won't record what Bitcoin is currently doing. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently higher than this 17,013. It's about 17,086. That is actually pointing to the DXY going down to test this 104.391. It could in fact break down even further. But what we've seen, the last time it touched this smart money buy level, whoa, the buyers certainly stepped in and it took it up to the 105.357 mark. Just be aware that an increasing dollar puts negative pressure on your beloved alts. And also the stock market. Looking at the stock market at the main markets is what we do in order to be professional investors and traders. And when we look at how inverse real rates are going, we can see this particular white line. It's been coming down as the rates have been coming down, the yields have been coming down. But when we look at inverse real rates, we actually see that gold is a major beneficiary of inverse real rates actually increasing. I discuss this in depth in LV11 for the masterclass. And you also get my live chart inside the masterclass. In the last trading session of the main markets last week, we saw the VIX continue its ascent down. When we start to get a spike up in the VIX, beware. The major market indices will all get hit. At the moment, we're seeing the exact opposite of fear. We can see junk bonds are just piling into the market. And masterclass students, you'll receive this live chart in TM6. One of the things to keep your eye on is what the DXY is doing. Can the markets break out, or will they break down? And when we look at the main markets, the SPY, we can see the SPY has overcome quite a few levels of very, very steep resistance. One at the 401 and one at the 404 level. It has one more to go at 410. And these smart money resistance levels are formed through the CTKS method, where we look at all of price action, not just recent price action. And on December the 11th, the CTKS method version 2 is coming to the masterclass, but there'll also be training for the public. And when we look at the S&P 500 E-mini futures, what we can see is it's currently trading at 40.66. It has two smart money resistance levels above it, one at 40.92 and another one at 41.09. It's really vital that the S&P 500 gets above these two resistance lines. That will actually spur positive action because there's not much resistance between 41.09 and 41.91. To do this, we would need to see the VIX come down and the DXY come down also. China has seen massive protests, and China is loosening COVID restrictions as public anger simmers. Chinese cities ease curbs, but full zero COVID exit seen as some way off. Masterclass students, you get my live chart in LV19. Why does it matter what China does? China is the manufacturing center of the world, and when China improves its economic outlook, and it's been very, very suppressed of late, but when it improves the outlook across the entire world. And the major problem the Fed faces is as the actual indices recover, as the stock market recovers, it actually pushes the break-even inflation rates up and the forward inflation expectation rates up. It means that we may get a 50 basis point increase, but potentially a 75. If we actually get a 75 basis point increase, it will rock the markets because no one is anticipating it. This is why we do our daily three-dimensional risk management code. First of all, we consider what is the market going to do? What percentage do we ascribe to going down, going neutral, and going up? And whatever is the highest percentage, that boils up to the first part of the code. The next one is your portfolio. How would a movement in this direction impact your portfolio? What would go down? What would be unchanged? And what would go up? And how synchronized in with the market do you feel? The institutions are always trying to desynchronize you. They don't want you to have the Midas touch too much, but they want you to have it every now and then. And episode 685, I do a deep dive on how to look and interpret this code. I've marked up the Stanfield levels, or the SLs, for the CTKS method on Apple. And Apple is in the middle of no man's land, literally right here. The next smart money sell levels is 156.54, but the next smart money buy level is 139.83. And we can see there are multiple levels of support underneath Apple's price. Now, why am I looking at this? Why is Apple so important? It literally is such a big proportion of the major indices. It's really important to understand how Apple moves. You can think about it like this. If you didn't have the SLs, you would not know, apart from recent price action. You would say, oh, there's resistance here, there's support there, there's support there, there's support there. But what is the reality? Where is the actual support and resistance? Well, it's down here, and this is not formed through recent price action, but you can see all of this strong support, and it doesn't relate to recent price action. This is where the CTKS method is an absolute powerhouse. And you can think up here, for example, a lot of people would say there's massive resistance here because we can't get past it. Actually, the massive resistance is just a little bit lower. A lot of people could be put on the wrong side of the percentage and the wrong side of the trade by not knowing the CTKS method and what it outputs. And why do we do this analysis? Inside the masterclass, the first thing we do is to mark up our charts with the CTKS method. Then we look beyond the crypto market, looking at what the stock market and markets globally are doing. This impacts risk on, risk off behavior inside the crypto market. And then we come back into the crypto market and enhance our pattern recognition, finding the market's focus, understanding that opportunities reset every day. But before we buy or sell, we must master emotional control. If fear actually is in charge of the decision-making process in your life, you will always buy and sell at the wrong times. That's why we uninstall fear and install courage in its place. And there are so many ways to buy and to sell. Rule 45 from the masterclass: no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. We know that Bitcoin's gravity is impacted by the stock markets. So that's why we spend so much time looking at the markets, because we need to. In crypto news, Russian banking giant Sber adds Ethereum and MetaMask support. That is Russia's largest bank. And regulators face public backlash after FTX collapse. Experts call for coordination. US regulators and their failure to avoid another crypto contagion have raised a lot of questions over their credibility. And of course, they're talking about Gary Gensler, chair of the Securities Exchange Commission, or SEC. And there are a lot of questions being raised about the SEC's failure. And from the Wall Street Journal, FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried says he can't account for billions sent to Alameda Research. Wow, Sam, that's your company. You should know what you're doing. Bybit announces a second round of layoffs in 2022 to survive the bear market. And Alameda Research invested $1.15 billion in crypto miner Genesis Digital. And crypto lender Genesis allegedly owes $900 million to Gemini's clients. US Senator Ted Cruz wants Texas to be a crypto oasis. And Senator Cruz says that he likes Bitcoin because the government can't control it. And he is purchasing Bitcoin weekly. And it's the only crypto in his portfolio. Ted, I hope you're doing it with the CTKS method. He says, I think Bitcoin means investment. It means opportunity. It means prosperity. It means financial independence. Pretty cool stuff. In other news, XRP lawsuit. Defense lawyer believes judge in Ripple case will soon deliver one big written ruling. And this is expected no later than January 9th, 2023, but it could come much faster. If Ripple wins, XRP will literally take off, as will the crypto market. But always bear in mind, if it doesn't play out positively, it could go the other way. That's not what anybody wants to hear, but you must prepare for it. Being a professional means that you do your risk management. Start with the down case first, the going against you first, and then consider the going for you last. But there is no question that crypto is here to stay. Avalanche AVAX to power Alibaba's cloud infrastructure services in Asia. Let's have a look at what's happening under the hood with Bitcoin. We can see Bitcoin is surpassing a smart money sell level at 17,093, doing its best to actually make it a smart money buy level. Bitcoin is currently 17,107. The levels that you need to keep your eye on are resistance levels at 17,988 and support levels 1 at 17,093, 1 at 16,649, and another one down lower at 15,758. These are the key structural sell and buy levels for smart money inside Bitcoin's market structure at the current time. We can see currently that the S&P 500 futures and the NASDAQ futures are not yet trading. The stock market is quite sleepy compared to crypto, which trades 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I remember when I was trading in the stock market, I used to dread big, massive falls between different days, especially over the weekends. Now with crypto, I don't have to worry about any of that. If I want to get in or out of a position, I can do it in a flash. The current hope or probability is on Bitcoin actually overcoming this resistance level, turning it to support, and just potentially retesting and making its way up. There'll be a lot of shorts in here with their particular stops. If Bitcoin can come up and tap those stops, they will be forced to liquidate, which could force price higher like this, a big wick up. So just keep this in mind. But this is still a smart money, approximate smart money sell level as well. It's not being confirmed as support. So we still have to account for the probability that it could come down. But the markets overall, especially if the VIX doesn't spike and the dollar DXY continues to come down, it will look very positive for crypto. We can see total crypto market cap has a smart money buy level at 808 billion and 799 billion. Currently it's 813.2 billion. Now when we look at this, we can see resistance above at 840 billion and slightly higher at 866 billion. If we lose this 800 billion, there's nothing but fresh air keeping us from the next support level down at 707. This is a really important time to see positive upward momentum. We're literally coming out of the weekend, and when we look at the longs and the shorts, they've been relatively flat across the weekend. And we can see a number of longs getting liquidated and a number of shorts getting liquidated. But let's check out the liquidations to see which side is winning. It's very important that you keep your eye on the longs and the shorts, and Masterclass students, you get this live chart in TG34. There's been 37.41 million in total liquidations across the past 24 hours, across 14,171 positions. Really light. Nothing to see here realistically. And over the past 24 hours, about 55% of total liquidations were long liquidations. Over the past 12 hours, about 71% short. The past 4 hours, 83% short. The past hour, 52% long. It's starting to turn around. That smart money sell level is starting to actually activate. Just beware, it can take some time to turn a smart money sell level into a smart money buy level. It takes time to confirm resistance as support. And we can see just literal weekend trading, really light. But the majority of liquidations have been on the short side, not on the long side, but they're really small. The greatest gainers in the past 24 hours, Cello, IMX, CRV, Flow, ICP, HOT, and Rune. The greatest losers in the past 24 hours in the top 100, Phantom, Lunacy, HT, Quant, EGLD, Tron, and a stable coin, Gemini, USD. Let's have a look at the top 8, and we're just going to zoom out a bit so we can see a little bit more time. We can see Bitcoin's gravity, that blue line, Ethereum matching it well, but becoming a little bit weaker of late. But you can see we always tend to get a slingshot back to Bitcoin's gravity. And when we look at BNB, BNB has not moved around much. You can see that ETH is up at literally nearly 10%, but BNB is down just a little, like close to 1%. you can see that BNB has been much weaker than Bitcoin in terms of gravity, but this can slingshot as well, so just bear that in mind. We can see XRP below Bitcoin's gravity. We can see Doge coming up to Bitcoin's gravity, plus 9.3% over this period, and ADA doing very, very well. Charles is basically saying to Gemini, hey Winklevi, why don't you actually put ADA on your exchange? And they say, oh, we didn't put XRP, so we're not putting ADA. And Charles is saying, so what? Put ADA. I agree with Charles, and this could be a forward impetus on price. The Winklevoss twins should definitely listen to Charles. He knows what he's talking about. Matic, we can see Matic just a little bit weaker than Bitcoin's gravity. DOT is also weaker, and Litecoin is also weaker. Turning to the next 8 cryptos, we can see SHIB just moving in alignment, but quite erratically. But these are not great percentage movements. With Bitcoin's gravitational pull, we do see that Tron is diverging. It's actually inverting on Bitcoin's gravity. Just keep an eye on Tron. Solana was being weaker but still moving in alignment with Bitcoin's gravity. It's starting to pick up strength at the moment. Uni moving in alignment also quite strongly. AVAX doing nicely. Perhaps that Alibaba news story was quite good. Hey, go AVAX. And having a look at Link, weaker than Bitcoin's gravity at the current time. Atom is also weaker, and XLM Stellar is also weaker, but staging a bit of a rebound. But again, not great percentage movements. As a community, we don't get caught up in the retail mindset, which is one of fear. Fear of missing out, or fear, uncertainty, and doubt. We're not interested in fear. When new traders and investors enter any financial market, they'll get caught in Zone 1 and Zone 2, the panic and the blame zone. And that's because people always seek certainty. But unfortunately, there's only probability in financial markets. That's why we do 3-dimensional decision making. One thing the professionals do, they understand the role of percentages. Our community specializes on being on the right side of the percentage, and maybe you might like to comment about the role of percentages in financial markets. It's really, really important to understand, and it could help many people get out of Zone 1 and Zone 2. But the fastest way to get out of Zone 1 and Zone 2, apart from learning, is positive excellence. When people start in Zone 1 and Zone 2, and everybody starts there, so it's no problem whatsoever. The only thing is to not stay there too long, because it costs you a tremendous amount of money and creates an enormous amount of stress as well. To get out of Zone 1 and Zone 2 into Zone 3 and Zone 4, where we consistently make money and we're also happy, positive excellence is a definite bridge. This is all about sustainable fulfillment, meaning happiness and success. When people first get into the market, their only focus is money because they think that money equals success. It doesn't. Money is an infinite commodity. You can never have enough of it. And I thought we could talk about that today also in the comments. We don't talk about money much. And there's a very, very different money-making process that goes on inside the minds of Zone 3 and Zone 4 as opposed to Zone 1 and Zone 2. That could be good to discuss. Positive excellence is all about the behaviors that strengthen you so that your success can be supported. Unsupported success will fall back into just relearning, and we either win or learn and never blame. Is positive excellence important? Yes, doing the right thing is important because if you do the wrong thing at scale, you create cascading costs, and those costs cost people a lot of money, and that's simply not fair. If you have friends or family who could benefit from positive excellence, and what we do here each and every day, please introduce them to our community by sharing a video. We have one of the best communities on YouTube, and thank you Rajat and Crypto Turtle. And thank you Martin K for your very kind words. And also, thank you to Dinesh and to everybody who's sharing the different stocks that they trade. I would love to mark these up with the CTKS method version 2, but it does take a little bit of time to do. And you'll find out how much time it takes to do when you learn how to do it. But it's totally worth it. And well done to everybody who pops in their BORSOG code. We know that we control the trade or investment, but the market controls the return. Just thinking about the way the market could actually go puts you in a better position than 95% of market participants. And I did play around a little bit with the mnemonic layering of the creed. And Oscar and a few others, thank you for reaching out and saying you saw it. And thank you, Tiana, for your very kind comment. We do these videos, Kate and I, together every single day, 7 days a week, and no time off for us. And thank you again to everybody who commented, and thank you for watching. And if you have not commented and you would just like to reach out and say hi, we'd love to hear from you. We have one of the friendliest communities on YouTube, and it's scammer free, because as soon as any of the moderators see a scammer, that scammer's days are over. And well done, Oscar, #1 yesterday. You rock, my friend. As promised, I contacted by email the successful awardees of the Art CTKS Partial Masterclass Scholarship and the Crypto Turtle CTKS Partial Masterclass Scholarship as well. Please check your emails if you've applied for the scholarship. There is no better time to learn how to do things inside financial markets. And you can see that the masterclass actually covers so much ground, from the stock markets to Forex to the crypto market. All of it is important because all markets are interdependent. To make sure that we stay in Zone 3 and Zone 4, we have the CTKS Creed. And I love reading the comments on which part of the CTKS Creed resonated most strongly with you. I know the universe wants me to succeed. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. I know opportunities in life reset daily. I am worthy. I go slow to go fast. I start small and scale with BORSOG. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame. These are positive statements that you say to yourself. They help to eliminate any fear-based thinking. Fear-based thinking is Zone 1 and Zone 2. Courage-based thinking is Zone 3 and Zone 4. And Zone 3 and Zone 4 are where all the money and happiness are. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.